Hi everybody and welcome back to Lost Genre Reddit Stories. A quick info before we begin. Today's video has 2 stories and both of them have updates. Now let's get started with the first one. This post is from the subreddit Relationships and it's by user Beanie Baby. My 25 female fiance's 28 male brother, 25 male, drunk dialed me saying he's in love with me. I've known both of them since college. I actually met my fiance's brother, Lucas, first. He was in the audience while I was performing a spoken word piece. Our friends knew each other, we met, etc, etc. Lucas eventually introduced me to his older brother, Miles, and I was instantly smitten, as they say. Miles and I started dating very quickly after we met. He's always been very assertive and confident, while Lucas is quiet and introverted. Miles and I are now engaged. We're aiming for the wedding next year, hopefully in the summer unless something goes horribly wrong. Lucas is going to be the best man. We are very happy together. Then last night, Lucas called me at around 1 o'clock in the morning. Right away, I knew something was wrong because he never called, especially not so late. He's more of a texter. I didn't actually answer the call because I was in the bathroom. I figured I'd call him after I was done. He ended up leaving a message saying this word for word. Jess, my friend, how are you? I missed you at the bar last week. We were supposed to go to the karaoke place, remember? You're a terrible singer, by the way. Smart and clever, but a terrible singer. Anyway, I'm really drunk right now and I'll probably regret saying this in the morning if I can remember it, but I love you, Jess. Weird, right? You're funny and beautiful and I love the F out of you and I'm so sorry. You and Miles are a good couple. I'm happy my brother found such an amazing person to spend his life with. I would say I wish I met you first, but I did, didn't I? Anyway, sorry. Please don't tell Miles. I just wanted to say it out loud to you once. That's all. Bye. I was in shock and then I cried. And then I sat down and thought of everything that happened since I performed my spoken word all those years ago. I honestly had no idea. Lucas has dated and been in a few relationships since I've known him. He was only ever amazing to those girls. Kind, doting, respectful, loyal, the list goes on. He didn't say how long he's felt this way. Maybe it's new? I don't know. Either way, I don't want to know. Should I talk to him about it? Should I tell Miles? Should I take this to the grave and pretend I don't know? I'd want to know if my sister had called my fiancé and admitted to being in love with him, but I don't want to strain my fiancé's relationship with his brother. On top of that, Lucas was drunk. He likely doesn't even remember he left the message. Okay, OP, first things first, Lucas being drunk is not an excuse at all, so let's just remove that from the table. Secondly, if you should tell Miles, yeah, you need to, you have to. Regardless of what Lucas is going through, he had no right to drop this bomb on you. What he should have done like an adult, if he did have feelings for you, is work through them by himself or with help from a friend or a therapist, but not put it on you or Miles. That's quite selfish of Lucas. Miles needs to know and he needs to deal with his brother. And OP, if the worst does happen, that this breaks their brotherhood and they're done and they never talk to each other again, it's not your fault. You wouldn't be putting a strain on their relationship. That's something Lucas did when he got drunk and called you telling you he loved you because what? He's gonna make you not marry his brother or something like that? Yeah, definitely not the brightest star in the constellation here. So OP, to sum it up, talk to Miles, tell him that you're worried about Lucas, show him the message, and then let him tell you what he wants to do. And you go from there. And what do you guys think about this whole mess? What would you do if you were in OP's shoes? Let me know in the comment section. And now let's move on to the community comments to see what they said. Maydray says, as much as it will suck and cause drama in your wedding to tell your fiancé, you have to tell him. What if it comes out later? What if your future husband later finds out that you said I do with another man who you know loves you standing right beside him? This is too dangerous of a situation. You're going to be married. You need to show your communication skills now. And OP responds, I'll tell him tomorrow. Hopefully, he doesn't react too terribly. And Injurious Graffito says, it's much more dramatic and romantic to some people to be in love with someone who's unavailable. The drama is why people are drawn to unrequited love and those kinds of stories. He's not in love with you, but I'm sure he's attracted to you. In a nutshell, he's behaving immaturely, and my advice is to treat it like a juvenile outburst. Nothing slays the drama like a straightforward but brief discussion about your disappointment in his behavior. 2 minutes face to face with or without your fiancé and done. Lucas, you called while you were drunk to tell me you were in love with me. This is embarrassing for both of us and I'm disappointed. I care for you because you're family. You need to better control yourself when you're drinking, alright? Are we okay? Good. If he expresses any other feelings in your presence, I would not coddle him but stand up. Express your disappointment. Tell him that even if you weren't about to marry his brother, you two would not be compatible and that you think maybe there's something else going on with him, but it has nothing to do with you and he needs to deal with that. End the conversation. Treat him like family because he is. He's not a jilted lover and he doesn't need to be told how great he is and that he'll find someone, etc. That's for another day when he's having his own relationships. Right now, it's best, in my opinion, to just shut down the behavior by setting very, very clear boundaries while keeping the door open to family only. And Opie responds, yeah, it's best that I handle this. If Miles takes this on instead, I'll remain that imaginary, unattainable figure in Lucas's life, and there will be no conclusion or closure to any of this. I really don't think distance is the answer here. He needs a face-to-face moment. It has a reality check. What we do moving forward in terms of distance, staying friends, etc. is dependent on his behavior when we finally do talk. Surely going to hell. That's uplifting. Says, quote, he asked me not to tell my fiancé, end quote. Tell your fiancé immediately, showing him the text message. Opie's short-term update. Miles came home a couple of hours ago. I played him the message expecting some level of shock or anger, but he just went, oh crap, is he okay? To my relief, Miles is honestly just concerned. He's not angry at all. In fact, he said he had an inkling that Lucas was, at the very least, attracted to me, but he had no idea it was love. He asked me how I felt about the situation, and I told him my only concern was our relationship. As much as I care about Lucas as a friend, I'm not entirely sure what he wants from me, if anything at all. I'm marrying his brother in less than a year. On the one hand, I feel bad for him because unrequited love is a crappy thing and I've been there. But on the other, I'm annoyed. I don't really know why I'm annoyed, just that I am. In any case, Miles thinks I should have a sit down with Lucas. I expected him to want to talk to his brother, but he said we should maintain the illusion that he doesn't know, if only to spare Lucas the guilt and or embarrassment. He knows his brother better than anyone, so I'll follow his lead on this. The thing is, I'm not even sure Lucas remembers leaving the message. Hopefully he does. I would hate to break the news. I guess I'll post another update after meeting with Lucas. I still have no idea what to say. Hey, you drunk dial me saying you love me. What's up with that? No, probably not a good approach. Additional information from Opie's comments after the update. First, I'd like to say that I cried because that's my natural reaction to bad things. I'm a crier, lol. Also, because I felt bad for Lucas. He's a good person. For him to be pushed to the point that he had to tell me, he must have been in a bad place. Also, I've never had romantic feelings for him. Once I befriend someone, that's it. My feelings don't change. Now, about my update. I went in fully expecting Miles to want to handle this on his own, but he made his stance very clear. Lucas isn't just my brother to you, he's one of your best friends. I trust you and I also trust him. He told you because he's ready to get over you. Talk to him, see where his head's at. Let him know how you feel even if he doesn't want to hear it. We've been texting on and off all morning. To be honest, I'm even more ready to marry him than I was before. He's handling this so well. And I'd like to make it clear that I really don't think sleaziness has anything to do with this. Yes, Lucas supposedly has romantic feelings for me, but that doesn't diminish our friendship in any way. I'm sure Lucas agrees. That's probably why he kept quiet for so long. I don't feel tricked or used. I've had time to think about it, and I'm pretty sure I'm just annoyed because I didn't know. Miles apparently had an inkling. I was totally blindsided. I'm annoyed, but I'm not annoyed at Lucas. Finally, I don't think he tried to break up the wedding. I understand that on paper it may seem that he has ulterior motives because that's the easiest route when analyzing a situation like this without knowing any of the parties involved. But he 100% didn't try any such thing. Miles doesn't think so. I don't think so. If my fiancé thinks I should be the one to talk to the guy, I will. I'd rather it happen now than 10 or 20 years into the future, because it will happen at some point. He's directly related to one of us. He won't just disappear. Alright, so the community said some things and yeah, they kinda helped OP, but what I really want to focus on here is the fact that Miles has the emotional maturity of an 1,000-year-old person. Like, wow, admirable, I'd have to say. And I really think that Miles' approach is the best one in this situation, considering what OP said, that we actually don't know the parties involved, we just know what she wrote in the post, and Miles does. So, it's time that we move on to the update to see what happened next and how the story ends, but of course before that, you know that here's another one of my playlists for you to enjoy after the video. Now let's move on with that update. Big thanks to everyone who left a comment on the original post. Your input was very helpful. I have since talked to Lucas, again, Miles' idea. His logic was simple. Lucas told me the truth because he was ready to let go and get over me, or rather, whatever idea of me he had in his head. Miles thinks keeping Lucas as the best man at our wedding will be punishment enough. As brutal as that sounds, I can't help but agree. Lucas isn't a child and shouldn't be treated like one. I think he knows we're disappointed in him. Worried and sympathetic, but disappointed just the same. If he were truly looking to split the engagement, I feel like he would have taken a more sophisticated approach than drunk dialing me. In any case, we had a chat at my and Miles' house. Miles was home in his study working. Lucas and I had lunch in the kitchen. To my relief, he did not feign ignorance. We talked for maybe 20 or 30 minutes. He told me he originally wanted to ask me out in university but waited too long and then stepped aside when he saw that I was interested in his brother instead. He said he left the voice message without agenda, and I believe him. The way he was talking, his words came off more cathartic and apologetic than hopeful. They didn't come off hopeful at all, actually. He made sure to say our friendship was still genuine and whatever we've gone through since we met was untainted. The moments of what if were brief, he said, but heavy. By the end of our talk, he was able to admit that maybe his feelings stem from a desire for a relationship similar to mine and Miles, and not so much desire for me. I told him he was still very welcome to the wedding if he felt he was ready for something like that, and he told me he'd be there for sure, and we left it at that. All in all, I'm confident everything will be okay. It might take a while before we're normal around each other, but we had a chance to talk and clear the air, and right now, that's good enough for me. Well, OP, I'm just gonna call it. This is an awesome update where everybody, even the party that was wrong in this whole situation, acted maturely, owned up to everything, and cleared the air. This is what you would expect in an adult conversation. So again, congratulations, everybody managed it great. Thank you so much for sharing, OP, and here's wishing you the best in the wedding. Take care. And now, let's move on to the next post that, like I said in the beginning, also has an update. This post is from the subreddit What the F Instagram. I, 23 male, found my girlfriend's 23 female fake Instagram account where she follows my exes, past flings, hookups, etc. Basically, what the title says. The Instagram contains several photos of someone I've never seen before and has been around for about 7 months. For context, we've been together for 2.5 years, living together for 1. We live closer to her hometown, with mine approximately 6 hours away, so she hasn't really gotten the chance to know many people from where I'm from except my family and closest friends. I guess I'm just a little weirded out and I'm not sure if I should bring it up. Honestly, I'm generally the jealous one in the relationship and we've had to have many talks about my not focusing on her exes or getting too mad if someone hits on her. Well, OP, first things first. Of course, this is insecurity and jealousy is not a good thing. It's also kind of hypocritical that you would need to have conversations about you being jealous when she's being like creepy jealous. Now, I'm not so sure how common this thing is to like stalk people's exes. I don't think it's a healthy way to deal with insecurities. And also, if the roles were reversed, OP, you'd get a lot of responses saying that he's a creep and that you need to run away. Now, I would like to think that I wouldn't just run away in either situation, but I would try to confront the person or at least tell them hey, I found this, what is going on? If the reasons are creepy reasons, then yeah, run away. But if there is some sort of logical, and I'm really stretching the word logic here, explanation to this whole situation, then maybe you should listen to her and see if you guys can work through it. If not, if it is a creepy thing that she stalks your exes and all that because she needs to know or whatever, then yeah, I would say that's a red flag. And what do you guys think about this situation? What would you do if you were in OP's shoes? Let me know in the comment section, and now let's move on to the community comments to see what they said. Books, Coffee and Booze says, not going to lie, I've considered doing this before. The only reason I haven't is because it would be awkward if I got caught. I'm not a crazy girlfriend though, if that I don't care if he talks to other women, don't care he has female friends and hangs out with them, can't imagine him ever cheating, etc. But I'm crazy nosy and at least one of his exes is bat crap. So it may be less that she's a psycho and more she just likes to see what they're up to. But talk to her about it if you're worried. And OP responds, this is actually good to hear. I confided in one of my friends about this and she actually told me it's pretty common to try to snoop on private profiles. She said a few of her friends have done this and only snooped once, then deleted it. When I look at the photos, they were all posted shortly after the creation of the profile and were likely just enough to make it believable. So she might not even be using it still, but just didn't delete it. KDV87 says, yes, you should be weirded out. Keep in mind, most of the people who post on r/relationships are likely overly curious about other people's lives. That's why they're here in the first place. By most standards, stalking people like that is very bizarre. Love for Llamas says, look, we've all done stuff like this. I'm super nosy and curious, but I can't say I would ever go through the trouble of making an Instagram account to follow my significant other's exes or flings. That just seems a bit creepy to me. I would bring it up to her. She'll probably be embarrassed because it's a weird thing to do, but if she's feeling this insecure, then it needs to be addressed. Additional information from OP's comments. I will admit that I may have dented her trust in me. Nothing too severe, but it could contribute. A few months ago, we went through a bit of a rough patch related to my depression, and she was quite understanding for the most part, but definitely felt the lack of attention and affection. One night, I was visiting home and out drinking with the guys and forgot to respond to one of her messages. Later, while I was letting her check my phone for something, she accidentally saw I had been chatting away with a few others, including girls who I have a history with, on that night because they found out I was in town. She only seemed a little bit irked by this because I hadn't responded to her but did to them, and also because we have a policy of letting each other know when individuals from our past contact us, and I forgot due to being drunk, but didn't seem too jealous. As I type this out though, I could see why it might have sparked her curiosity, especially given our rough patch and my depression making me less affectionate and attentive for a few months. Alright, well, the community gave OP all the angles. And I gotta say, those friends of OP that says this is pretty normal, no it's not. And if it is normal, it shouldn't be, because it is creepy. I can understand curiosity and looking somebody up on Facebook or LinkedIn or something like that. But creating an account in order to be able to have access to the person's profile and see everything, that makes it creepy. Also, OP, the fact that she was going through your phone looking for something else and accidentally ran into that chat, how do you accidentally open up a chat app in a particular chat to see what was going on? That wasn't an accident, sorry to say. Or it could just be my natural skepticism. Anyways, OP also gave us some context as to why he thinks she may be insecure. So let's move on to the update to see what happened next and how the story ends. So I decided to try to talk to my girlfriend casually about the account. I told her that when she was letting me use her phone, I noticed the other account. I explained that I logged her out of Instagram and was going to log into mine so that I could post a photo directly from her phone and saw the other account as an option. She looked horrified at first, but then, without any prompting at all, she confessed that she had a super insecure day after exactly the incident I talked about in my comments. My drunk night in my hometown. She ranted to her best friend about how she was feeling and the two of them made the account. They crept the accounts that accepted the follow request. Her friend helped her boost her ego a bit with some girl talk and she completely forgot about it. She said she was having a really hard time when I was depressed, but felt like she couldn't complain about it because my pain was worse. So she just sort of let a whole bunch get to her over time. She told me that she felt her poor handling of certain things, her words, and the massive insecurity she felt was an indicator that she probably needed to talk to someone and work through some things. And she's actually been seeing a therapist every other week or so for the past few months. This wasn't just due to what happened, as she felt she needed to do this for a while. It was just sort of what motivated her. This shocked me, and she apologized for not telling me. She says that she felt like she couldn't complain to me about her mental health when she knew I was going through so much. And then when I started to get better, she didn't know how to randomly bring it up since some time had passed. I had no idea how hard my depression was on her. I feel so selfish that I didn't even notice, but she says she completely understands, and she knows how preoccupying depression can be. All in all, she apologized profusely for the account, deleted it in front of me, and we promised to try to get back to being the good communicators we were before my depression hit. Alright OP, so it was a red flag and she saw it herself and she did something about it. That's actually really good. So congratulations on talking it out. The result I think is the best that you could have hoped for. So here's wishing you both the best in the future. Take care OP and thank you for sharing. And that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch it. Now, if you've gotten to this point in the video, I assume that you like these stories that I'm reading out. So here are a couple more that you might enjoy. And if you don't have any time to watch another story right now, save it for later. And also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button.